I don't wanna say anything, cause if I do I might say the wrong words. Oh no. So I'll keep my mouth shut and not listen. Afraid I'd lose you if I didn't. Till we find what we're missing and compromise. So I'll keep my shoes up and not leaving. We're on thin ice, winter season. Can we find a single reason not to say goodbye? Oh, if I said what's on my mind, would you stay with me tonight? If I said what's on my mind, would that make you run and hide? Run and hide. Run and hide. If I said what's on my mind, would that make you run and hide? Would that make you run and hide? Run and hide. Run and hide. Oh, would that make you run and hide? Don't know what to do anymore. I'm out of options, nothing's working. I'm out of service. Come help me now, I'm fucking nervous. I'm trying but can't scratch the surface. So I'll keep my mouth shut and not listen. Afraid I'd lose you if I didn't. Till we find what we're missing and compromise. So I'll keep my shoes up and not leaving. We're on thin ice.
This is Rob Van Dam, and you're watching Cold TV.
Well, greetings and salutations, and how are we doing out there, world? And welcome in to another episode of PW60. It is actually our 93rd episode of PW60. We're actually getting closer and closer to that 100th episode. We're going to have to do something extra special for that episode. I am Mr. B-Roll here, and I am joined by the Wrestling Encyclopedia himself, MJD Duplessis. How are you doing, Michael?
Good. How are you, B-Roll?
I'm doing okay. A little bit under the weather.
Just letting you know your mic's a little staticky.
My mic's a little staticky. Okay. You gotta love being live. And you gotta love technology. Is that any better?
Kind of.
Kind of? Okay. Maybe I just had it too close. Maybe I was talking too loud.
Yeah.
We're live, pal. We're live, pal. A little bit under the weather, but man, oh man, what a WrestleMania weekend it was. And this episode of PW60 it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to focus on the granddaddy of them all, WrestleMania. Deservingly so, because it's freaking WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But this is PW60, and the clock does not start until we say those magic words. I am Mr. B-Roll. He is MJD Duplessis, the Wrestling Encyclopedia. XOJ is actually on his way back from Vegas, currently, like as we speak. So that's why he's not able to be here tonight. But we thank you for joining us. But without further ado, let's get right into it. I say the clock starts now. The other thing being said, we don't have our traditional slideshow and everything, but we are going to recap everything. It just means you get to see our beautiful faces enlarged and in charge for this entire episode. So it's going to be great. But with that being said, let's get right into it. Let's get into the night 2 main event. John Cena makes history by defeating Cody Rhodes and winning his 17th world title. Mike, I'm eager to hear your thoughts. Were you shocked? Were you surprised?
Not shocked by the win. I predicted Cena to win when we did the predictions on Cold TV. I was shocked and a little confused on how, because I was not expecting a one Travis Scott.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we didn't get The Rock, so that was strange.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I think we all were a little bit shocked by that with how it all happened and how it all went down. I don't think it was surprising that Travis Scott came out. Cody did get to give him a receipt, if you will, which I think it's not surprising that happened, but I think is what's more surprising is that it didn't lead to, The Rock or anything coming out.
Bigger,
and which I know we were talking about this a little bit before we went on the air. A lot of people upset about this, which I guess I can understand it. But I think people need to pump the brakes a little bit and quit freaking out a little bit.
I think we wait till see what happens tonight and on Friday.
Exactly.
IWC just likes to freak the fuck out for no reason.
Exactly. And like we were saying, like I get that we're comparing it to last year, and I get that because last year's was magical.
Yeah.
Last year's WrestleMania is going to go down probably as one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time, if not the best of all time. I will say personally, not that I'm freaking out about it, but the whole stuff with The Rock and what they did with the heel turn with Cena and everything. I mean, The Rock didn't really need to be there for any of that. If this is what the end result was going to be. Yeah. So, I will give that argument credit, but overall, it was a solid main event, and I guess can you deny it now that John Cena is the GOAT? I mean, he has the most world titles of all time.
Yeah, I've been saying that for a while myself. Like, he's definitely on my Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, so, love him or hate him, having the most world title reigns of all time, the stat kind of speaks for itself. But yeah, so it was a good main event. But let's jump to what opened the show for night 2.
That match was amazing.
Yes, it absolutely was. Honestly, probably was it match of the weekend, at least from like WrestleMania standpoint. It's definitely up there.
Yeah, I have that, and I have the main event from night 1.
Okay, yeah, and that's understandable. Both triple threats were absolutely incredible, but we have Io Sky retaining her title, which I honestly thought that was great. I think it was the right call.
Definitely the right call. Beautiful.
Io is very deserving of it. I can honestly say I was a little surprised because I wasn't expecting it. I didn't expect Io to retain. So that's what made it.
Anyone did, and I think that's why it was perfectly called.
Mm-hmm. And that's what made it all the better. And yeah, this match was absolutely great. There was a lot of storytelling in it. And I think we are just at the tip of the iceberg as far as it comes to Bianca and Rhea.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be awesome because those are two juggernauts. And I think if we get a nasty heel Bianca and Rhea's so over, I think we have the potential for something great there.
Oh yeah.
So I am excited there.
In that, my opinion, that triple threat last night was the best women's match ever.
Ever,
Yeah.
all time.
Yeah.
It's definitely up there. It was.
Yeah, it definitely has argument for it.
Yeah, it definitely does. Because it was that damn good. It for sure was. And I mean, me personally, I loved it because it's like, okay, if this is how we're starting night two. Night two is going to be something special, and it was. But let's move on to the four-way for the Intercontinental title, and Dirty Dominic Mysterio is your Intercontinental champion.
This man went from getting booed every week to where he couldn't talk to getting the biggest babyface congratulations ever in like a very short term.
This was Bizarro World for sure. But I don't know about you, but like I was eating this shit up. Like,
Oh, absolutely. I ate that shit up from the entrance. I don't know if you saw my video earlier today, but that mask that Dom wore was his great uncle. The Rey Mysterio Sr. So the fact that he wore out his great uncle's mask to pay respect to that heritage, knowing that Rey Mysterio Jr., the one we know, is where he got his name and not his father, because I see people saying that on fucking social media, and it's like, no, I thought that was beautiful. And then the match was great.
Yeah, I mean the match was great itself. I mean, it started out with Judgment Day. They were working together, Finn and Dom, and Braun Breaker looked like an absolute beast in this match, like he always does.
He killed Carlito.
Yeah, man, like I don't know how they keep topping it, but like
that spear is crazy.
That spear was creative to say the least. I'm gonna jump from one announce table to the other announce table, and I'm gonna spear you. It's just like they keep thinking of different ways of how they're gonna spear Carlito, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, when we were doing the watch along, I said, okay, someone's going to get speared through that table. I thought it was going to be another person in the match. Like, okay, this is how Finn gets put out. But the fact that it was Carlito and his dirty ass, I love it.
Gotta love it. And I mean, Penta got his shine in this match too. I mean, I would have loved to see Penta pick up the win. But at the end of the day, hey, Penta, you made your WrestleMania debut. You'll have plenty of other WrestleManias to come. But I got to say,
this is going to lead to a beautiful feud between Dominic and Finn for that IC title. And I kind of love that.
Yeah, and largely thinking of like, hey, Dom babyface? Like babyface Dom? Like how quickly?
Did you watch any of the post show?
No, I did not. I went to bed. I'll be honest.
They had him come out to the booth, the table, and the "You Deserve It" chants and the Dominic chants were so loud and so like pronounced. I was like, "Aw, this man went from a heel everyone hated and wanted off the TV to that guy."
Yep. And hey, I hope they absolutely run with it, and they're they're smart people, so I'm sure they will.
The funny thing
But
is he was getting babyface cheers, but he was still talking shit about his dad and whatnot.
yeah,
And I was like, okay, you do you,
but
Dom.
yep. But with that being said, Dominic Mysterio is our wrestler of the week. Um, and it was tough. It was tough criteria, and we'll get into that more as we continue to break down WrestleMania. Um, this next one, though, I am ultra continue on with night two. I'm ultra excited about this one. Um, so we have Randy Orton in the ring. You know, he has a mystery um, opponent. You know, we had let's run down the subjects of, we thought it was going to be Rusev. We thought maybe Aleister Black, but then we kind of got that teaser on SmackDown that was like, oh no, he's coming on this day. Um, we
Nick
thought
Aldis.
maybe Nick Aldis. I thought maybe Solo Sikoa with that confrontation and everything.
I'm happy it wasn't Solo. I would have left. I would have not watched that match if it was Solo.
Yeah, I agree. I won't lie. I was really hoping it was Nick Aldis. I was really hoping for that. But my oh my, may I say, I was pleasantly surprised with who it was. Say his name and he appears. Yes, Joe Hendry made his WrestleMania debut last night. Like, what is life?
You see, I was conflicted because I will be the first to admit, not the biggest Joe Hendry fan, and the gimmick has been very run down on me. I think it's mostly because how TNA's, egged on that TNA World Title, and it took forever for him to get it. But I ain't gonna lie, that was a good short match, but it was a good match between him and Randy.
Exactly. And I mean, in my opinion, it was worth it for the pop alone, of when his music hit, because that place went absolutely bonkers, like bonkers, and it was awesome, and it was just so. It is very hard in wrestling to pull off a surprise nowadays,
Yes.
with all the dirt sheets and with all the rumors and everything. It's very hard to pull off an actual surprise. So this was actually a surprise, even though we know of like the partnership and everything. Still,
This
I
is
don't
the
think
first main roster outside the Royal Rumble appearances.
Mhm.
So that
Exactly.
for it to happen at Mania, that was cool.
Yeah, it was dope. And I mean, I know they had the reports of like, he was supposed to feud with the Miz, but they were going to have him lose, and so that got ixnayed or something. But you can't really complain to losing to Randy Orton at WrestleMania. So
No.
Randy Orton's 20th WrestleMania, that is too.
And
So
what I love about the Randy Orton part is, I don't know if you know this or have talked about it with Jeremy. The gear he wore was a replica of the first gear he wore when he joined the main roster in 02.
nice. I did not know that, but
Yeah.
that is a nice touch indeed. Um, Now, let's talk about the polar opposite, at least in my opinion, of a surprise. So let's time travel real quick. We're gonna go into night one. During the pre-show, we get told that Bailey has been taken out.
Oh, yeah.
She is not going to make it to WrestleMania, and is not going to be able to tag with Lyra Valkyria. To me, it was blatantly obvious who
Oh, absolutely.
it was going to be.
Yeah.
Blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
But in a lot of ways, it is okay because the band Becky Lynch made her return at WrestleMania to tag with Lyra. And not only that, not only did they tag with her, but they ended up defeating Liv and Raquel for the women's tag team titles. What did you think of this match? Like we said, we weren't shocked it was Becky.
Yeah. This is another match I'm conflicted with because the match work was great. I'll give him that. And giving Lyra that moment with her idol, her fellow Irishman, somebody she looked up to, good moment, sweet moment. I don't like that Bailey got screwed out of her WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Four Horsewomen, Bailey's my favorite. So that upsets me.
Yeah. Yeah. It is true. And for whatever reason, it always seems like Bailey sometimes gets the short end of the stick. Which I'm not gonna lie, Becky's probably my favorite of the Four Horsewomen. But like Bailey's like right there. But yeah, I mean it was a cool moment. It does stink for Bailey. I'm sorry, I just can't. I'm sure you saw the video of like Liv and Raquel and Kelly like at the
Dancing?
WrestleMania After Dark.
Good. Yeah, I saw it. I'm gonna be nice and appropriate. Well, I'm gonna be appropriate. Yeah, I saw.
Yeah. Liv Morgan. My goodness, girl. My
You
goodness.
see, I'm on the Raquel train.
Well, see, and that's okay too, and I get it, I totally get it. All right, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we're still breaking down night two. A couple more matches for night two. So we have us a Las Vegas street
The Sin
fight.
City Street Fight.
That's what it was.
The
Yeah,
Sin
Sin
City
City's
Street Fight.
which pinned Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. Let's talk about the entrances real quick first, because both entrances were pretty darn dope. But Priest with the guy from Slayer playing him out was
fire. I assumed that was going to be the big entrance for night two, just because they had like a week or two ago announced that he was going to be hosting a Slayer concert. So I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. That was pretty dope. Not gonna lie, you gotta love me personally. I just love somebody like kind of keeping it simple and like just having the guitar and I like that. Because I feel like when you have a whole band, and we'll get into it, Punk's entrance. I'm always one of those people, like, those stadiums are so big and it's so loud. It's very easy for them to get off, and it doesn't always sound as good and as crisp as it should.
It's a rare moment where it sounds like perfection or near perfection.
Yep. But that could be my ADHD. I don't know. But So in the street fight, we saw stairs used. We saw tables used. We saw. Trying to think what else. Um,
Pretty much almost every weapon
pretty much almost every
that
every
doesn't
weapon.
cause blood. I was wanting blood in this match.
I I agree. So this is a funny story. Um, so um, my daughter. So each night of WrestleMania, she joined me for part of it, and this just happened to be the match that she ended up walking in and asked if she could watch. And I almost told her no, but I was like, well, yeah, it'll probably be okay. Um, and I think for the most part it was. There wasn't any blood and guts or anything, so I think nothing too nothing too traumatizing. It just kind of cracked me up that she came in, of course, and asked to watch
During the street fight, that is
during
kind
the
of
street
funny.
fight. Yeah, but I mean, overall, what did you? Drew picks up the win here. Um,
I wasn't expecting Drew to win. I thought they were going to keep on having Drew lose with the crash outs and whatnot. But I do love that Drew did win because he needed a pay per view win. It's been a while.
yeah, yeah, indeed. Do you think we're done with Drew and Damien, or
I think you get one more match out of this feud.
one more match?
Yeah.
I can see it. All right, and on to our last match for night 2. Um, Logan Paul versus AJ Styles.
The only reason I am now okay with this match is what Karrion Cross did this morning.
Okay, so you're gonna have to educate me a little bit because I know
Oh,
I know I know Karrion Cross went off, right?
he did a little. It looked like a shoot, but I'm pretty sure it was scripted. But he went off on the Sam Roberts show today.
Okay.
He talked about how him and his wife have been in the business for a combined 20 years, and then someone like Logan Paul can get on WrestleMania because he's a fucking YouTuber, and the fact that Karen couldn't get in on WrestleMania in his home city, and that he got told by Goldberg that sometimes soldiers need to play their part and shut up. So the fact that he called out Goldberg is hilarious.
Yeah.
Have you seen the clip of Bryan Danielson and Miz going at each other on Talking Smack, right?
Yes, I've seen that. Yes.
It very much reminded me of something like that, where it was probably scripted, but it looked like a real shoot.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, the match
I
itself
can.
was okay. Like
Yeah.
AJ and Logan, athletic men, they could do a lot in the ring, but it's not something to write home about.
Yeah. Definitely not. Definitely not. But I don't know. I mean, the stuff he did with the drone was kind of cool. Um, it was. I mean, it was unique. That's the best way I can. That's
Yeah,
the best way I can describe it. And I think that's how you can describe most of his matches are unique. They're gonna be different.
yeah.
They are purely for
The youngins,
it,
the
the
YouTubers.
youngins and entertainment.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, I know we love watching Logan Paul get his ass kicked. I mean, that's what we want to see. But it is what it is, and like you said, nothing to write home about. But it was there. It happened.
yeah.
All right, moving on to night 1. Now, let me ask you before we dive deep down into it, and I think I know your answer. Between night 1 and night 2, excuse me, which one did you enjoy more?
Night, ooh, night 2.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
think general
As
consensus
a
would say,
whole, yeah, night 2.
yeah.
The
I think
main
general
event
consensus.
in night 1 should have been main eventing night 2.
Well, that being said, let's get right into it. In the main event of night 1, we have Seth Rollins picking up the win in a triple threat match that is going to go down in history as probably one of the best triple threat matches, but the storytelling in this match,
Phenomenal.
phenomenal. The callbacks to history in this match with Roman and Seth and the Shield and everything, and then just all the elements of this match.
Yes.
It's like this match was like it's like you're making a pot of soup. You
Yeah.
have all these ingredients, and you're gonna make yourself a great soup. That's what this match was. Leave it to me to
No,
always go.
you probably don't know this, but the throwbacks go back all the way to Punk's gear because that was the same kind of gear he wore in OVW when Paul first like took him under his wing. That black and yellow was like a mainstay in OVW for Punk. Forget the Paul do what he did.
Let's talk about it. So we get to the. I mean, we've had a. I can't remember exactly how long this match was. Um, at least 20,
Yeah,
20
25
minutes.
to 30. It was
Yeah. So we go through the match, and I mean Paul Heyman can.
First
I'm
off,
struggling. Yeah.
Paul Heyman's a piece of shit. He's been stabbing people in the back since he joined the WWE. This is what he does, B-roll. I know you're like a newbie with the professional wrestling stuff, but like he's been doing this since '02.
But like nobody learns. Nobody
No,
learns.
not at all. And I've been calling him going to Seth Rollins for 6 months.
I tell you, I tell you what. The best way I can describe this is beautifully executed, right? Because it was one thing to have him turn on Punk, right? That was one thing. Okay, it makes sense. He's getting back with the tribal chief. That makes a lot of sense. But then he turns on the tribal chief, and there was a little extra oomph.
Yeah, no,
on that
he
one.
hit him hard. Like if I'm Roman, I'm like, hey, bro, what the fuck?
And he twisted.
It was weird.
He wanted to make sure he got him, I guess. But man, this is
Cinema.
Exactly. And this is the type of
And
stuff
I hate
that happens.
that word in wrestling bookage.
Yep. But this is the part where you're like, okay, I have to turn into, Raw tonight to see what they are going to say. But man, this match was just chef's kiss, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, it's between the women's triple threat that opened night 2 and this match, which with both of those matches, like after it was over, I instantly wanted to go back and watch it again.
Yeah. I'm
and
probably going to do that tomorrow.
I actually did with this one because it happened that it was the last match, so I did go back and watch it again because it was that that darn good, and I was so hyped up that I couldn't sleep. So,
Yeah.
man, it is a beautiful thing. This is why we're pro wrestling fans. This is
Yeah.
it in a nutshell. Um, but looking into the rest of night one, a lot of mixed reviews about night one as a whole. With
I didn't hate night one. Like when I said night two was better, it's not that I hated night one. They actually had some great matches on night one.
yeah, so let's take a look into what opened night one. We had Jey Uso versus the Ring General Gunther. What were your thoughts on this match?
It was a really good opener with a good like heartfelt moment with Jay winning. I think they should have. I think Gunther tapping out was the right thing. I think they should have let him struggle more with the tap and it not tap so quickly.
Mm-hmm. See, and I don't know how to pinpoint it, and I love Jey Uso and I love Gunther. I don't know how to pinpoint it, but just something felt off about this match, and I don't know why. Don't ask me why. It just something felt off, and then the
I felt that way with moments in the match.
yeah, it was almost like, well, I'm gonna sound stupid saying this, but like Jey Uso's entrance took so long.
Yeah.
Like it's like they didn't realize how far away it was gonna actually be for him to get to the ring.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh, he's still coming. He's still coming.
Yeah.
But I will say, not I'm not going to nitpick this match because it was a good match, and like you said, it wasn't the whole match itself. It was just moments. I feel like of where
Rushed.
it felt off, rushed and off. Um, but at the end of the day, I think we we got what we wanted. Jey Uso is a champion.
Yes.
Everybody was eating like crazy.
The shirt's fire.
The shirt is fire.
He was drunk, stoned, or both at that press conference. He was gone. It was very reminiscent of him and Cody, but he was by himself, so it was 100 times worse.
Hey, but like we say, that's how Yeet was born. So
Facts. No, definitely facts. But like, it was hilarious to watch.
yes, most definitely. But honestly, could not be happier for Jey Uso, and it's only up from here. I would say. And speaking of sentimental moment though, like him and like Jimmy coming out at the end, like
I
it
was so scared when Jimmy came out. I'm not gonna lie. I said it on the stream. I was like, if Jeremy turns heel and hurts this kid, I'm gonna be pissed.
yeah. I won't lie. With how he had like the black hoodie on and stuff, I was
like he
like,
turned on him the first time. I was like, "Oh, you sick bastard!"
don't you do it, Jimmy?
But I think Triple H wanted us to think that with the way he dressed. I was like,
Yeah,
you played with our hearts."
yeah. He would turn on him. He just would have been like, "No, eat."
Yeah. I was very scared.
No kidding. But so Jey Uso is now your world heavyweight champion. Excuse me. Moving on, we also had on night one, we had Tiffany Stratton defeating Charlotte Flair.
This match is hilarious.
Why do you say that?
It's a great match, but you could tell that there was still animosity, and that they were laying in hits. Like they were going at each other,
Yeah,
and Tiffany's
I think
face got fucked.
yeah, I think that's the best way you can put it. Yeah, this whole feud, it's been interesting. That's the best way I can describe it, and that's the nicest way I can describe it. It's been interesting. Um, and I won't lie, I am kind of like a Charlotte Flair mark, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I I hope they're done with it. I hope they table this.
I do
Uh,
too. I definitely I don't need to see these two people who obvious now have real life beef with each other go on
yeah,
and just hurt each other for real.
yeah. I will say, and it's with WrestleMania. You talk about this. Both entrances were pretty dope. I
Yeah.
really liked both entrances. I thought
So was the
like
matching gear that made them
yeah
look like a tag team.
yeah, which
I'm
I
just
feel like
saying.
that's that's the story they've been trying to tell of like they're more similar than they are different, but it's just it's gotten too personal.
Yeah.
Which honestly, some of the personal stuff was the better parts of this feud.
Yeah.
But I hope they're done with it for a while. That's what I'm gonna say. They're not all gonna be home runs, but now let's move on to something that, in my opinion, was an absolute home run, and that is Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight for the U.S. title. Oh, can,
I
can
that
I can't
moment
think. Yeah, I cannot think of anyone more deserving than Jacob Fatu to get that moment with his journey and everything.
it's so
The,
beautiful. This
yes,
dude went from being locked up for almost a decade to a U.S. champion at WrestleMania. Now that's an American story that needs to
yeah,
be told and talked about.
yeah, yeah, and I feel like there was something special too about, and I know it's two different stories, but there was something special about him and Jay both winning belts on the same night too.
Yeah,
Like that was special just for. I mean,
their
yeah,
family.
they're family. Like the stories are, they're completely separate. But I mean, we know they're family,
Yeah,
but I I mean, the match was the match. I don't I wouldn't say it was anything spectacular.
but it was
But
good for those two boys. Like
yeah,
they they killed it.
what was spectacular was the moment, and
Yeah,
like the crowd just went absolutely nuts for Jacob winning the belt, and it I cannot wait to see where we go from here. Is the best way
Jacob
I can.
versus Solo.
I think it needs to happen. Um, honestly, I thought that was going to be Jacob's Mania match, was Jacob and Solo.
I think we all did.
Yeah. Um, but it'll happen. It's going to happen. But give it time. But in my opinion, I know we had Dominic Mysterio down as Wrestler of the Week, but you easily could put Jacob Fatu uh, in that category as well, because what a moment, and um, was one of the real bright spots of night one of WrestleMania, outside of the main event. All right, now let's jump to. Um, we had the tag team titles on the line. The New Day versus the War Raiders. And real quick, I want to talk about the gear. I'll let you talk about the New Day because I know you had put stuff in our group chat of the callback. But I want to talk about the War Raiders gear because it was terrible. It was awful. No. I felt so. I don't know if I want to say bad for them because I feel like they had to wear that gear because it was supposed to tie in with that video game or whatever sponsorship it was. But
yeah, Clash of
it was bad. It was bad. It looked like they had went to Walmart and bought some kids' toys, and that's what they were wearing. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm all about making money and I'm all about sponsorship, but don't make the talent suffer because of it. Now, let's talk about the New Day's gear.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I am trying to look for it.
Oh, do you not remember what you said?
No, I can't.
Giant Gonzalez.
Oh, yeah. So that was a meme I found.
Oh.
That shit was hilarious. Yes. Yeah, the fur on their gear was wild. I don't know what that was supposed to be. Gear-wise.
But hey, I mean, I could see it. I don't know if it's what they were going for, but
it definitely wasn't. Motherfuckers were just making a joke because they're assholes.
But
I don't think everyone wants to pay respect to Giant Gonzalez.
No, well, hey, I mean, wasn't he in WrestleMania 9 though? Maybe they were paying tribute to WrestleMania 9.
To the Undertaker's worst WrestleMania match, and that is Undertaker's words. Undertaker said that.
Hey. But at the end of the day, the New Day were victorious, despite whether their gear was questionable or not. How do you feel about the New Day being tag team champions?
I see. I was confused at first when they got the shot because they had been losing so much on Raw. But if they do push them with this heel character, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I think it's only going to help it be this heel turn of theirs be a little more relevant. So
which they were struggling with.
Let's keep kicking the rock down the road and see what happens. We got a couple more matches for night one. So we had also on there, we had Jade versus Naomi. What were your thoughts on this one? Jade picking up the win here.
This was a really goddamn good match. I think with both companies, this is Jade's best match.
See, this one I feel like is not that long ago. We kind of talked about like hidden gem matches.
Yes.
On learning the ropes.
That's gonna be one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a really solid match. Had a good story to it. It's not going to be what you talk about when you talk about this Mania, but it was a really solid match.
And I do love that Naomi's changed the gimmick completely. The new music, the caution gear was dope, but I'm loving this new heel Naomi a lot. most interested I've been in her character in a very long time.
Hmm. And Jade's just a rock star and looks like a freaking superhero out of a comic book. So
She's a sculpture, and it's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Um, but last one for night one. Gotta talk about it. El Grande Americano
Do we have to
versus
talk about this?
it happened at WrestleMania, so yes, we do have to talk about it. El Grande Americano versus what was supposed to be Rey Mysterio, who ended up getting a injury, was replaced by none other than Rey Fenix. Which I'm super happy for Rey Fenix, at least,
Yeah.
because he got to make his WrestleMania debut.
Both the
Which
brothers make their WrestleMania debuts, and they haven't been with the company that long. Very congrats to them.
no
I'm
kidding.
sorry for Ray that it had to be this storyline in this match in this situation, because god damn is that gimmick the drizzling shits.
See, I actually don't hate it, but maybe it's because I don't know. I buy into the stupidity of it. It makes me chuckle.
I just Chad Gable's such a talented wrestler, but he keeps on getting these really weird ass gimmicks that just I don't know how I feel. I think he deserves more. So I'm actually upset for both wrestlers.
Why are you bringing up Chad Gable? We're talking about El Grande Americano.
You shut up.
I mean, we have video evidence of them being in the same place, same time.
I will roll off this TV off the show.
For me, this match it served its purpose, right? It was I don't want to call it filler, but it was entertaining. It was entertaining enough to keep you interested, but it also kind of brought you down a little bit.
Do you know what my favorite part of this goddamn match was?
When it was over,
No. We got El Hijo del Vikingo on WrestleMania.
that is true, and that was at the very beginning of it.
Like, that's
Oh,
crazy that happened. When
it
he was
is.
just on the other company show not that long ago.
Yep. That is crazy, and we'll talk more about that in just a second as we get ready to wrap up here for PW60. But I will say one thing I do like with the El Grande Americano. I love the idea of this whole loaded mask.
Yeah.
It's unique, and I thought it was a really creative spot for when Phoenix, because how Phoenix runs the ropes and then he quit the kick. I thought that was a good spot and good realistic storytelling of how the loaded mask could be a weapon.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll give you that. That's what they're doing with the weapon. It reminds me of William Regal and the Nux in the trunks.
yeah.
And I do respect that.
All right. So somehow, some way, we made it through all of WrestleMania. Like we said, I feel like overall this was a good Mania. People like you said, on the IWC are overreacting a little bit, but that's not all that happened this week. But before we get into some of the other things that happened, some of the big news that happened in wrestling, let's go to a quick word from the Best Gout Machine.
Follow Best Scout Machine or suffer the consequences.
I don't know about you, but the last 2 days, I was unbelievably sports entertained. Like I really feel like WWE just sort of, I don't know, I regained my faith in them over the last 2 nights. Like, the ending to both nights to me was like chef's kiss. I don't care what the haters have to say, the ending of night 2 was amazing. There were moments I was so loud, I'm sure, like, reacting to everything, I'm sure my neighbors were worried about me. And I cheered, I laughed, I cried a lot, I cheered again. I held on to my wife because I was like, this is such a beautiful moment. I need to hold you during this period of time. Now I just got to sit back and reflect on everything that just happened. Unbeknownst to Gout, he had not watched WrestleMania at all. He had accidentally taken some cookies that was laced with an illegal substance and watched Showgirls nonstop on VHS on a loop for 48 hours straight. Why won't the voices stop?
Oh, Gout. Not another one like him in the world, I swear. So, real quick, let's just do some quick hits, if you will. Because besides WrestleMania, there was tons of other things happening. Real quick, what did you think of NXT Stand and Deliver?
That whole show was amazing. From beginning to end. The pre-show had a great match. Like, to me, there was not a dud on that part.
Exactly. I can do nothing but echo those sentiments. Each year, it just seems like Stand and Deliver
steals the show.
Yep, they do exactly what they're gonna. They do exactly what it says. They're gonna stand and deliver. These past two have. Now I know I wasn't a fan at the time, but these past two, like, remind me of, like, from what I've seen of, like, the takeovers.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
like 100%. And then real quick, I know there was a crap ton, but the Collective also happened. What was, if you had to pick, like, maybe one or two of those shows, or maybe even a match, like, what was your favorite?
The return of Dragon Gate USA.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. For me,
again, as somebody who's been a Dragon Gate USA when it was still first a thing, phenomenal.
For me, probably one of my favorite shows from the Collective was Joey Janela's Spring Break. That was just such a it was a loaded show. Absolutely loaded.
And the Defy show, because I'm a homer and bias as fuck.
Yep. And then, with that being said, if you haven't watched any of the Collective, I would go back and watch the Collective. Well worth the price of admission. We got to talk about the big news. We mentioned it with El Hijo del Vikingo. WWE has bought or acquired, as they said, AAA.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out my feelings on this situation, okay? As a diehard wrestling fan, I watch everything. So I'm trying to figure out how I feel about this.
Yeah. I think everybody is. It's going to be interesting. That is for sure. But I will say this. If you have not watched El Hijo del Vikingo, he is super crazy talented. And the fact of getting him on WWE television
could be a thing that's crazy. Yeah.
Blows my mind. And I think it's going to happen, like, sooner than any of us thought it was going to happen.
I think he will be on that Worlds Collide show.
Oh, I think most definitely. Most definitely. So, with that being said, that pretty much covers everything that's happened in the world of pro wrestling. I know this wasn't your typical episode of Pro Wrestling 60, primarily focused on WrestleMania, deservingly so, because it is the grandest stage of them all, the granddaddy of them all. Mike, I thank you for joining us tonight. I know you've got to get and head over to Netflix and Raw. Cheap
Facts.
plug right there, right?
Yes. World Championship Wreckage, come hang out.
Yep, so you hop from here.
Is this live right now?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay, yeah, so come join.
Yeah, most definitely. Come join. Go Netflix and Raw. But we do have a extra special treat for you as we get ready to sign off here. We do happen to have a very special preview for our WrestleMania week here on Cole TV. Like we said, XLJ was out in Vegas. So as we get ready to head off the air, please enjoy this little preview of WrestleMania week. Have a good night, everybody.
Well, it's amazing what a year's difference can make. John Cena has made history. He is the WWE champion for the 17th time. It's been a hell of a WrestleMania, to say the least.